A Japanese astronaut is part of NASA's next space mission on the International Space Station composed of 4 crew members. Let's hear more from Natsumi Kojima live in Japan. Natsumi?
Yes, Ruth, Japanese astronaut Satoshi Furukawa will be joining NASA's next space mission, spending about 6 months in the International Space Station, where they are scheduled to board a spaceship called Crew Dragon. The Crew Dragon is scheduled to lift off on August 17 at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Furukawa will be joining a team of 4 members from different space agencies from different parts of the world. Satoshi will be the mission specialist together with Russia's Roscosmos, Konstantin Borisov. The team commander is an American astronaut, Jasmine Mokbeli, and their Danish pilot from the European Space Agency, Andreas Mogensen. Furukawa is a graduate of Doctor of Medicine from the University of Tokyo, and in 2000 received a Doctor of Philosophy in Medical Science, also from the University of Tokyo. On February 1999, he was selected as one of the 3 Japanese astronauts candidates to work on the ISS by the National Space Development Agency of Japan, or NASA, together with Akihiko Hoshide and Naoko Yamazaki. He then trained 4 years and eventually became a certified astronaut on January 2001 and a qualified mission specialist with NASA on February 2006. Furukawa said that he will conduct experiments on how staying in space affects the human body, adding that his tests will prepare people for future expeditions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. This mission will be Furukawa's second time in International Space Station after being assigned there as a flight engineer in 2011, spending 165 days on a mission called Expedition 28 and 29. Back to you, Ruth.
Thank you, Natsumi, for your live report. Fears surrounding Fukushima wastewater discharge still loom, with South Korea's seafood imports from Japan plummeting for the 3rd consecutive month. Salayon reports.
Following the approval of the discharge of Fukushima's nuclear wastewater into the sea, South Korea's seafood imports from Japan plunged by 34.7% in June year-on-year. This marks the 3rd month in a row of decline since the discharge of the Fukushima's nuclear plant's wastewater into the sea received approval. According to the latest data from the Korea Customs Service on July 17, the total import volume of fish and shellfish in June from Japan went down by 21.7%. The fall in import figures came as the government of South Korea and the public continued to raise their concerns over Japan's plan to discharge the wastewater into the Pacific Ocean, an event that is expected to take place later this summer. The wastewater release is expected to be spread out over the next 3 decades. Data released by the South Korean Customs Service on Thursday also said that imports of tuna and salmon have dropped by more than 60% and more than 80% respectively, compared with the same period in 2022. And last Friday, over 1,000 fishermen in South Korea's Gangneung County, Jeolla Province, protested to voice their opposition against Japan's plan to dump wastewater. They were seen holding placards with slogans and banners criticizing Japan's plan. Jeolla Province is a major producer of octopus and seaweed in the country, and many locals fear that their livelihoods are already under threat even before the polluted water is released. It can be remembered that since 2013, South Korea has banned all seafood imports from 8 Japanese prefectures located near Fukushima, and this is due to radiation level-related concerns. Seoul is Bogosala Yoniminidaya, Gemini News, South Korea.
The South African city of Durban, situated on the east coast, has been hugely affected by climate change. The area is accustomed to heavy rainfall in the summer months, but this has almost doubled in the last century. A few weeks ago, 7 people were killed when the city was hit by a tornado, a very rare occurrence in South Africa. Yulisa Jamela has more.
A devastating flood that ripped through the region in 2022 goes down as one of the worst in history. The floods claimed just over 450 lives. In the past few weeks, heavy rains brought on by the tornado left scores of people displaced and several injured. In this area, freak storms are becoming more frequent. Mama Zane Mazange is one of the residents who were adversely affected by the floods. Her house was destroyed.
What seemed like heavy storms came out of nowhere. The winds uprooted my roof. They destroyed my house. Look at this. How can I recover? Where will I get another home? We were just fortunate that we were not injured, but it was bad. It was really bad.
Mazange is concerned that should there be more floods, she might lose her home completely.
I might just lose everything next time. You can see that it is bad. I'm hoping that I can recover and not ever be affected again. But who knows?
The provincial government and a number of non-governmental organizations continue to respond to assist affected communities.
As eThekwini Neighborhood Watch,
As the eThekwini Neighborhood Watch, we work with the provincial government. We all know that this will likely happen in the near future, so we continue with the contingency plans to make sure that we can do all that we can to protect these communities.
A recent study by the World Weather Attribution Initiative has linked the intensity of the floods in this region to climate change. The initiative is an academic collaboration studying extreme event attribution and extreme meteorological events such as heat waves, droughts, floods and storms. Yuli Sanjamela in Durban, South Africa.